but the facts that will help us come up with a good report. However, the same Cap 12 can be evoked and can be used against you if you willfully choose to mislead this committee. It is on behalf of the committee my expectation that you will not choose to mislead this committee but share the facts. With that said, Town Clerk, I would like to welcome you once again and ask you that you introduce yourself individually by stating your title and your name. You can now do the needful.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. And good morning to all the others that are here. My name is Namkolo Komufyanya. I'm Town Clerk CHINGOLA. I'll also allow my colleagues to introduce themselves, starting with the gentleman on my far left.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone else. I am Dominic Espiri, Director Legal Services, CHINGOLA Municipal Council. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members of Parliament, and good morning to all the permanent witnesses. I'm Robert Mwansa, Director of Finance. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. I'm Nyuenda Tumelo Ianda, Acting Director, Engineering Services.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Naomi Sakala, Director of Planning for CHINGOLA Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Wanzi Mwanza from Internal Audit.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members, and good morning, everyone else. My name is Price Nketani, Procurement Officer, CHINGOLA Municipal Council.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of Parliament. My name is Mtewa Andrew, former Director of Engineering. Thank you.
Thank you. Internal Audit.
Thank you, Chair. I'm the Group Internal Auditor.
Okay. Fine. Now let's have AG's office as starting from my left here.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, honorable members of the committee. Good morning, Town Clerk and your team. Good morning, colleagues, permanent witnesses. I'm Wemba Twaksons Hamianda, Director for Copper Belt Province, and I'm accompanied by my two colleagues. They will introduce themselves. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. Good morning, CHINGOLA Council, and good morning, everyone. My name is Darius Chimezalirami, Assistant Director from Office of the Auditor General, Copper Belt Province. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lovinda Sinyani from the Planning and Research Department in the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ministry of Finance.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, everyone. My name is Mombasaka from the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, Office of the Accountant General. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Good morning, CHINGOLA. My name is Achibuya Davis, Assistant Director, Local Authorities Department, Ministry of Finance, Internal Audit Division. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, the Ministry of Local Government.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you and the honorable members of your committee, CHINGOLA Municipal Council. You are welcome to this session. I'm Kazinga Kennedy from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the employer, the Local Government Service Commission.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. Good morning, TC and your team. My name is Christopher Mwamba from Local Government Service Commission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our Secretariat, Office of the Clerk, starting with IT Department.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Good morning, witness. My name is Chamako Sonde from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. My name is Max Ochileka from the Office of the Clerk.
Good morning. I'm Rachel Chileshe from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning to you. Good morning, other honorable members, our permanent witnesses. Good morning. Town Clerk and your team, good morning to you. I am Chirimboi Elijah from the Office of the Clerk of National Assembly, and our witness, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, the honorable members of the committee. We'll start with the honorable people of Mitete.
Chair, thank you so much. Good morning. Town Clerk, you are welcome. MP for Mitete, just for today, in this manner, because of Komboka tomorrow. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, the honorable people of Usakile constituency.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to you. Morning, honorable members. Good morning, Secretariat, all our permanent witnesses, people from Chingola. Good morning and welcome to this committee. Kalobo Pavyuma is my name. I represent the good people of Usakile constituency, Kitwe in the Copper Belt.
Thank you so much, the honorable people of Dondomwezi constituency.
Chairman, I'm very grateful. Good morning to you. Good morning, my colleagues, honorable members, our permanent witnesses. Good morning. Secretariat, good morning. Good morning, Madam and your entourage. I'm Singombe Edgar, representing the people of Dondomwezi. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, the honorable people of Siavonga.
Chair, thank you. Good morning, permanent witnesses. Chingola Municipal Council, good morning. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency. Chairperson, I thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, honorable members, our permanent witnesses. Good morning to you, Chingola Municipal Council. My name is Christopher Shakafuso. I represent the good people of Mandevu constituency of Lusaka district. I'm the vice chairperson of the committee. I wish to take this privilege to invite you, Town Clerk, to present your memorandum responses.
Thank you, Chair. Our report is 30-paged. The rest remain copies of the evidence that we've brought. And I'll start with the first one, which is under Nchanga constituency, failure to recover advance payment on terminated contracts. Cause of query: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the cause of the query was due to failure by A+ Insurance Company to honor the advance guarantee on behalf of Kefra Investments. Action taken: demand notices dated 22nd February 2024 and 15th April 2024 were issued to A+ Insurance Company in respect of Kefra Investments. Legal action was then commenced on 25th June 2024 under that cause number, that is at the Kitwe High Court, for the claim of 1,313,177, after which A+ Insurance made a part payment of 400,000 towards the same on 23rd July 2024. The Zambia Public Procurement Authority was written to through letter dated 8th February 2024 over the termination of the contract with Kefra Investments for the Chip and Spray project. Chair, we've attached Appendix A to speak to the action taken. Remedial measure: the Council will endeavor to conduct due diligence on contractors and insurance companies which will act as guarantors for projects. The second query, Chair, is for Gilgo Engineering Limited. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the cause of the query was due to the failure by Discover Insurance to honor the advance guarantee on behalf of Gilgo Engineering Limited. The action taken: 2 demand notices dated 28th February 2024 and 15th April 2024 were issued to Discover Insurance in respect of Gilgo Engineering Limited to demand the sum of 109,706.06. Arising from the insurance company not honoring the 2 demand notices, legal action was commenced on 25th June 2024 under that cause number at the Kitwe High Court for the claim of that amount, which is 109,706.06. The matter is scheduled to come up for scheduling conference on 23rd April 2025 at the Kitwe High Court. Zambia Public Procurement Authority was written to through our letter dated 8th February 2024, informing them over the termination of the contract with Gilgo Engineering Limited for the plumbing works at Inchanga North General Hospital. We have attached as Appendix B the evidence speaking to the action taken. Remedial measure: the Council will endeavor to conduct due diligence on contractors and insurance companies which will act as guarantors for the projects. The next query, Chair, is a failure to spend. This is on management of youth, women and empowerment grants. Still under Nchanga constituency. Cause of query: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the 276,000 kwacha under Nchanga constituency, which was not spent as at 31st December 2023, was due to not having had clubs that were approved at that time, because Nchanga Constituency Development Fund Committee resolved to be considering the applications quarterly. Action taken: the Council wrote to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development through its letter dated 19th December 2023, informing them of Nchanga Constituency Development Funds Committee's resolution to continue considering beneficiaries under economic empowerment grants and loans on a quarterly basis. The 276,000 kwacha was spent on 24 cooperatives that were considered by the same committee in its meetings, which were held on 11th January 2024 and 30th July 2024, and as approved by the Provincial Constituency Development Fund Committee through the conveyances dated 5th February 2024 and 6th September 2024, respectively. We've attached as Appendix C the evidence relating to the same. Remedial action: management will continue to have review meetings with the CDFC, which are the Constituency Development Fund Committee, the Ward Development Committees, and councillors, as well as other stakeholders, to ensure timely submission of applications for speedy facilitation of approvals. The next query, Chair, is on secondary school boarding and skills development. That's bursaries. Cause of the query: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the cause of the query was due to the bursary skills application forms availed at the time of audit not having been signed by the Nchanga Constituency Development Fund Committee Chairperson and the appraisal report for skills bursaries not having been availed. Action taken: all application forms which were considered for funding under the 2023 allocation were approved and signed by the chairperson of the Nchanga Constituency Development Fund Committee as required. The appraisal report, which was not available at the time of the audit, is available for verification. A letter of caution was written by the Town Clerk to Director Planning, who is the Secretariat, over the queried anomalies. The Ministry, through the Provincial Local Government Officer, took steps to interact with both the Nchanga and CHINGOLA Constituency Development Fund Committees during their interactive meetings held on 21st September 2023 and 20th September 2023, respectively, to remind them on the procedures to follow before applications are processed. Chair, we've attached as Appendix C the evidence speaking to the action taken. Remedial measure: management shall endeavor to ensure that all requirements are met as stipulated in the CDF guidelines. The next query is failure to claim funds. This is under the skills development bursaries. Cause of the query: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the cause of the query was due to the 16 queried students having withdrawn from the training after payments for all approved and verified students was made, and no notification was given to the council for withdrawn students. Action taken: Friends Driving Center was written to on 28th October 2024 to refund 45,120 kwacha only, being funds paid in respect of the 16 students who had withdrawn. A further verification revealed that only 7 students had withdrawn as opposed to the 16 cited in the query, and as verified from the provisional driving licenses issued. The institution has since refunded the 19,740 kwacha for the 7 students who withdrew. Interactive meetings for providers of skills training have been held in a bid to remind them on their obligations to closely work with the local authority in ensuring that procedure is adhered to. Chair, we have at Appendix E availed documentary evidence speaking to the action taken. Remedial measure: monitoring of skills bursaries will continue to be intensified, and only verified students shall be paid for. Under Chingola constituency, we have incomplete works, which is a 1/3 admission block at Kasompe Clinic under the 2023 allocation. Cause of query: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the query was caused by delayed implementation and abandonment of project site by Morumu Innovation Limited, which was a breach in the contract they had with the local authority. Action taken: management served Morumu Innovations Limited with a letter of caution for delayed implementation of the construction of the 1/3 admission block on 31st December 2024. The contractor requested for extension of contract period dated 7th February for a duration of 8 weeks, which was scheduled to elapse on 9th July 2024. A letter was written to Morumu Innovations Limited on 29th July 2024 notifying them of the expiration of the contract. The project was retendered 3 times with no responsive bidder, and on the 4th time awarded to Intrinsic Engineering Solutions on 24th January 2025 for the completion of the 1/3 admission block at Kasompe, and the following works have since been done: that is roofing, metalworks, electrical installations, and plastering. Chair, we have given at Appendix F documentary evidence speaking to the same, as well as the status report on the project. Remedial measure: management will ensure that the procurement of works is commenced immediately projects are approved in order to have them completed in the funding year. The next query, Chair, is on drilling and equipping of borehole at UCZ in Lulamba under the 2023 allocation. Cause of query: management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the query arose from the borehole having been drilled within the premises of the church, which houses the Reverend's residence. Following the geophysio survey report, which indicated high potential of water being found in that location compared to other areas. Action taken: upon completion of the water reticulation project, Council wrote to the church guiding on the ownership of the government property, the purpose and use of the borehole by the community. A memorandum of understanding was signed between the church on behalf of the community and the local authority on the use and ownership of the facility. The tank stands and taps were actually installed outside the Reverend's premises from inception. That is to ensure that the facility is accessed by the community. And the Water Point Committee was established and trained on the management, operation, and maintenance of the water reticulation system. Chair, we've provided at Appendix G documentary evidence speaking to the same. Remedial measure, the local authority will ensure that the facility is fully accessed by the community as intended. The next query is failure to implement funded grant projects. That is management of youth, women, and community empowerment grants. Cause of query. Chair, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the cause of the query was due to the beneficiary not having implemented the projects as approved. Action taken. Verification of records revealed that there is only one club called Impandamano found in Twatasha Ward that was funded a total of 20,000 kwacha as approved. Management wrote to the cooperative in a letter dated 1st November 2024 to exculpate themselves on the change of project from the approved poultry project. Their letter of response dated 7th November 2024 indicated that the beneficiary could not proceed with the earlier intended project due to price increases. The current status, Chair, is that the club has ventured into village banking. We have attached as Appendix H documentary evidence speaking to the same. Remedial measure, management will endeavor to ensure that all economic empowerment recipients are oriented on the use of funds before disbursement, whilst monitoring is intensified. The next query, Chair, is on secondary school boarding and skills development bursaries. That is failure to appraise and approve applicants. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wish to state that the cause of the query was due to the bursary skills application forms availed at the time of the audit not having been signed by the Chingola Constituency Development Fund Committee Chairperson and the appraisal report for skills bursaries not having been availed. Action taken. All application forms which were considered for funding under the 2023 allocation were approved by the chairperson of the Chingola CDFC as required. The appraisal report, which was not availed at the time of the audit, is available for verification. A letter of caution was written by the town clerk to the director planning, who is the secretariat over the same queried anomalies. And the ministry, through the provincial local government officer, took steps to interact with both the Nchanga and Chingola Constituency Development Fund committees during the interactive meetings held on 21st September 2023 and 20th September 2023, respectively, to remind them on the procedures to follow before applications are processed. We have attached as Appendix J documents speaking to the same. Remedial measure. Management shall endeavor to ensure that all requirements are met as indicated in the CDF guidelines. The next query, Chair, is failure to replace students. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the query was caused by non-replacement of the 23 students due to the funds having been reallocated to payment of accommodation for students already in school as per circular issued by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Action taken. The funds for the 23 students totaling to 118,780 kwacha was paid to the skills institutions in respect of boarding fees, for the learners that were already training and needed to be paid for. The Constituency Development Fund Committee at its meeting held on 26 January 2024 resolved to reallocate the funds meant for the 23 students to paying boarding fees for the learners in boarding in line with that secular number. We have attached as Appendix K documents speaking to the same. Remedial measure, management will ensure that the students recommended for skills development training meet the criteria as per CDF guidelines through extensive appraisals and stakeholder sensitization meetings. The next query, Chair, is failure to claim refund on the skills development bursaries. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the cause of the query was due to the 51 queried students having withdrawn from the training after payments for all approved and verified students was made and no notification was given to the council for withdrawn students. Action taken. Friends Driving School was written to on 28 October 2024 to refund a total of 143,820 kwacha, being funds paid in respect of the 51 students who had withdrawn. Upon further verification, it was revealed that only 36 students had withdrawn, as opposed to the 51 cited in the query. The Friends Driving Center has since refunded the 101,520 kwacha for the 36 students who withdrew. Interactive meetings for providers of skills training have been held in a bid to remind them on their obligations to closely work with the local authorities in ensuring that procedure is adhered to. We have attached, Chair, as Appendix E, all the documentary evidence speaking to the same. Remedial measure, management will endeavor to intensify on monitoring of skills bursaries. We get to the cross-cutting issues. And under the cross-cutting issues, the first one is on budget, funding, and expenditure. Cause of query. Chair, as management, we acknowledge the auditor's observations and wish to state that the funds were not received as budgeted as at 31st December 2023 because the 115,681 kwacha per constituency was retained by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to top up on the procurement of CDF motor vehicles which were procured centrally. Action taken. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development did through circular number MLGRD/101/22/157 that is dated 3rd January 2024 guides that the retained funds were spent on procurement of the monitoring vehicles which had since been delivered. We've attached as Appendix L the documentary evidence. Remedial measure, management will always liaise with the Ministry of Local Government over unremitted funds. The next query under the cross-cutting issues is total unspent funds. Chair, under Nchanga constituency, the cause of query is more or less the same as what we already presented from the main body.
Okay, which you have already mentioned.
So basically, we just tried to explain for each category, but they are basically speaking to the same. So action taken, the funds that were indicated were actually spent in 2024 financial year as shown in the tables that we have presented. We have attached Appendix M to show the documentary evidence on the action taken. Remedial measure, management shall endeavor to spend funds within the financial year. Under Chingola constituency, Chair, more or less the same as what has been presented under Nchanga, except they are different projects. With your indulgence, should I take the same route?
Yeah, take the same route. You can.
Thank you, Chair. We've given a table that shows the cause of query and the action taken. We've attached at Appendix M the documentary evidence. And Chair, we are saying management shall endeavor to spend funds within the financial year as a remedial measure. The same follows on Appendix 2.1 and spent funds under community projects.
You can proceed.
I can proceed. Thank you, Chair. Cause of query. Oh. I proceed.
Yes.
And spent funds under empowerment grants. The same information we had given earlier. So we've
progress.
Yes, we've responded in the same manner. The same follows on page 22.
Correct.
Goes on to 2023, 2020 to page 24, page 25. Page 26.
Yes.
On soft loans, 27, 28, 29, and 30, Chair, and that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Town Clerk, and I want to thank you most sincerely for the presentation. Honorable members, we can now make points of clarifications. I'll start with Dr. Singombe, then Honorable Mlunda, then Honorable Mitete, in that order. Then we shall come to the other set, starting with Honorable Pavyuma.
Chair, I'm very grateful, and thank you very much, TC, for your submission. I'm on page 4 of your submission, which is emanating from page 3 on failure to spend. Chair, when you come to page 4, you will note that Nchanga Constitutional Development Committee resolved to consider the applications quarterly. And even when you go to other constituency, you will note that there were some delayments in approving. Hence, the time the auditors came, they discovered that certain things were not done because either the chairperson was not around or had not signed the documents. My question is, was that the right thing to do as an authority where the CDF committee resolved to consider the applications quarterly? Was that the right thing to do? Then you also indicated that the council wrote to the ministry. Chair, I would also love to know what was the response from the ministry after indicating that resolution from the Constitutional Development Committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You can respond to that. You are at liberty to ask your colleagues to help you where you feel so.
Thank you, Chair. Director Planning, who sits on the CDF committee as a secretariat, did present the circular that came from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, informing the committees on the new status regarding approving all CDF programs for the whole year. During that meeting, the CDF committee for Nchanga specifically brought it out clearly and made that resolution. At this point, Chair, allow me to call upon Director Planning to shed more light on how that meeting went and how the resolutions were passed.
DP.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, indeed, during the meeting, we had advised the CDF committee for Nchanga on the circular that we had received from the Ministry of Local Government. And they resolved that they can only be approving quarterly due to some unforeseen circumstances. Like, for example, they cited one example where they say if maybe a vulnerable person comes through midway, then what are we going to do? And then further also for the skills, the reason that they had forwarded was that learners, they will be coming quarterly, and then we need to be looking at them in such manner, of which that matter we reported to our superior, that is the town clerk, and the letter was written to the ministry.
Follow-up questions? Or the response from the ministry before follow-up questions?
Thank you, Chair. Well, we do not have a written response from the ministry, but I did engage the Permanent Secretary Technical Services on the same, who indicated that they were going to do a blanket circular to all the local authorities to further guide on the same matter. Thank you,
Do
Chair.
we have that blanket circular?
It has not yet been received, Chair.
How do we take your justification if there is no evidence to show that indeed this matter was guided to you by the ministry?
So, Chair, after the letter was written, and after seeing that we had not received a response, I made a verbal follow-up, and that's where I was guided that they were going to do a circular to guide us. I may not say more than what I was guided, Chair.
Before I ask follow-up questions, what is the standard in government or in councils? Before you are guided, do you go ahead to enforce that which has not been guided to you? What is the standard, the normal standard?
Come again, Chair.
You write, I write to you seeking for support or permission from you. Before you respond to me, I write to you officially. Before you respond to me, can I take that as a authority? Then I go ahead to start implementing that which you have not authorized me? Is that a standard? What is the standard then?
No, Chair, we would not implement what has not been authorized.
Honorable Singombe, then Vice Chair.
Chair, if you followed what the DP indicated, she said she brought the circular to the attention of the committee. Now, my question is, what circular were you trying to seek from the ministry? Because the CS is saying they wrote and the PS said they are going to issue a circular. But there was already a circular in existence. So I want to find out what exactly they were looking for in the presence of a circular from the ministry, Chair.
Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. So the letter we wrote to the ministry arose from the decision which the Nchanga Constituency Development Fund made, Fund Committee
It's
made.
on appendix what? Maybe let's look at it.
What appendix? Appendix C.
Let's look at the letter. In future, you should number these.
Appendix C, Chair, is just after the red reflector. The first one.
Yes, we are looking. Who has seen the letter? Okay. Like my folder is a problem because when you see the appendices, yes, this is C. They are jumbled. So Honorable Singombe is saying you wrote, when already you were guided by the circular that came from the ministry, what were you trying to get from the ministry when you were already the circular, you were at the circular? Yes, you wrote this on 19th December 2023. When were you audited?
Chair, we were audited in October 2024.
Is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay. In October?
2024.
So the period from December to October, no response from the ministry. Was this for the information of the ministry, or it is for the ministry to consider replying to this letter?
So, Chair, the reason we wrote to the ministry, we wanted to actually bring to their attention what had transpired under this constituency in terms of not abiding to the circular that had been issued. We were hopeful that in the response we were going to receive further measures that would be given to us, that would be brought to the attention of the committee. You may be able to agree with me, Chair, that once the committee is informed and they stand not ready to accept what has been availed, the only other avenue we can do is to seek intervention of other offices, which in this case includes the Office of the Permanent Secretary. I thought I should mention that, Chair.
Vice Chair, then follow up.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Town Clerk, a seasoned local government practitioner, you were submitting that you were seeking guidance. Where in your letter are you asking the PS to guide you? And here, all of us here, as CDF committee members, we do attend meetings, and when we are guided on the circulars and procedure, we abide. My question is, do the CDF resolutions supersede the ministry circular, the Local Government Act, and all regulations that deals with the implementation of CDF? Let's have an honest conversation.
See, Town Clerk.
Not at all, Chair. CDF resolutions can never prevail over guidelines or circulars that come from the Ministry of Local Government. The reason behind us writing to the PS is because we wanted to bring it to the attention of the permanent secretary regarding what the CDF committee had resolved. That was the first instance. Secondly, Chair, when CDF committee does not consider projects or programs, it becomes difficult for us to implement anything. So we felt this could have been attended to singularly, because this came out clearly and they indicated that if they needed this indicated in the minutes as a resolution which they had passed. Thank you, Chair.
Town Clerk, are you aware that you have a very bad report? All these members seated here, since we started, if you look at your report at Chingola, this is a bad report. These preliminary questions that are coming are pointing to you. The Vice Chair has indicated where in your letter, can you read the letter, where you are seeking for guidance or authority from the ministry? You are a seasoned town clerk. And the seasoned meaning should be doing the correct things, guiding properly. So we want to move with you. We have all the time today to look at this report. Can you tell us, before I ask Honorable Mtelo, where the first question the Vice Chair asked? Guide us. Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'll still put it the way I put it.
I'm just asking where. Tell us that this is from your letter. We have the letter here now.
Chair, arising from, I would use the word refusal by the CDF committee to act according to the circular that we received, we decided to write to the ministry to bring to their attention, because for us this was a challenge that we had faced. And hence this letter that we've attached to show that we had written to the PS. But I did indicate, though it's not something to fall back on so much, I did indicate that I did make a verbal follow-up with the Permanent Secretary, Technical Services, who had guided me that he was going to write back to me. But with that said, Chair, really, this is what we have as at now.
Honorable Mtelo, then the Vice will come back.
Chair, on this we've reached the dead end. No matter how much, the answers will still be the same.
Maybe in future, do you think we send you back, maybe we come with the CDF committee, we ask them?
Chair, allow me follow you. Saipe Adventure, the response was fall back to the area secular. What would you have done? You have a secular refused by CDFC. You write and pay adventure. You are instructed further to say you have a secular, refer to the same. What were you going to have done? Then you come to the CDF and say this is what the ministry is saying. Then the committee also refuses. Works in Changa would mean not being carried on. An instruction, town clerk, remains an instruction. More so when it's written. That's why you are there. DPO, that's why you are there to say, thank you very much, we hear you, but this is the standard.
Maybe before I ask Honorable Pavyuma and the Vice for follow-up, I want to ask, it refers to the minutes of the CDF, just mention the what, where they refused the lawful instructions from government.
Thank you, Chair. Let me allow Director Planning to help me find the minutes.
Thank you, Chair. It is under CDF, stroke 64, stroke 12.
Appendix
C.
Appendix C. Okay. Then as
The last one.
Okay. I'll ask Honorable Pavyuma, then the Vice to come in. Are you aware the damage that you have caused to the people of Nchanga and Chingola by delaying or by refusing to abide by the circular from government to meet regularly and consider the projects and the monies that are given to you, keeping money which has not benefited the people of Nchanga and Chingola because you cannot meet, you only chose to meet quarterly. This is the consequence. That's why we want to take with you our time so that we show you what you have caused. Contrary to what the President has been preaching, you are doing the opposite in Chingola. Honorable Pavyuma.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, on the same query, we are told that 276,000 was spent on 24 cooperatives, and they've given us the evidence on the same Appendix C. And having checked this Appendix, Chair, we only see progress report, minutes of the meeting, ledger. There are no documents showing whether payment vouchers were on how these cooperatives received the funds. We don't know if they were paid by check, if they were payment vouchers. So we want to see acknowledgement in whatever form these people were paid, so that we know that yes, these 24 cooperatives received the funds. Thank you, Chair.
Before you respond, Vice Chair, you are the follow-up.
Chair, I wanted to be shown in line with your question where it was resolved as the town clerk has stated.
GP and Honorable Pavyuma, your mics are on.
I would like to see the minutes on which page these resolutions are made. Director Planning, were you in attendance in this meeting? And if you're in attendance, please show us the attendance list.
So you can read for us that particular resolution and the attendance list. If you are there, just read for us the CDF committee resolution that we don't want to be meeting anyhow, only quarterly, contrary to the guidance of government.
Thank you, Chair. The meeting was held and I was in attendance. The minutes are there. I think the last set of...
Help us by reading the actual resolution.
So the actual resolution, which was under CDF stroke 64 stroke 12 stroke 203, and it was themed guidance on the circular on deadlines for CDF submission. And the resolution committee, it was resolved that committee projects will be approved yearly, while secondary school bursary skills development, economic grants and loans will be approved quarterly.
Correct. What is the role of you technocrats in such meetings?
Chair, let her read. Let her read what she just said. Where? Not from you. Read. I'm there at 6/4/12/23. Just read for us so that also the chair follows it. So the last minutes on page 4.
I should just read the resolution?
Yes.
That is on page 5. it was resolved that
Your mic, Vice.
committee projects should be approved yearly, while secondary school bursaries, skills development, economic grants and loans would be approved quarterly.
Are you able to give your name but to read what you just said?
Yes, Chair.
That's CDF 6412-2023.
CDF/64/4. Sorry, Chair. It's a CDF/64/12/2023. Guidance on circular on deadlines for CDF submissions. I go to the resolution. It was resolved that committee projects would be approved yearly, while secondary school bursaries, skills development, economic grants and loans would be approved quarterly. Thank you, Chair.
Town Clerk, in your own wisdom, are the people of Nchanga and Chingola happy with what is obtaining, with what has happened? Why we are asking like this, Town Clerk? I think you see as we proceed, you have not performed very well. You are frustrating government. You are frustrating the people of Chingola. What was your role as technocrats in that meeting? Interpreting the secular from government or changing the secular to suit yourselves there? What was your role? And do we need you in the CDF committees? Are you needed if you cannot guide straightforward instructions from government? TC.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just to assure you, we are government workers and we implement government policies. In this case, where the CDF committee refuses to abide with the guidance that is given, like I indicated, the only thing we could do is to resort to higher authorities to come to our assistance. Really, Chair, it's difficult for me to say anything more than that, but as I speak to you, as you've asked, do you need us in the CDF? Do you need us to be where we are to implement these projects? Chair, I'll say definitely you do need us.
I'll ask the Vice as the last Vice, then another one as the last follow-up. Why have asked like that? Do you think that would be an ideal situation where each council, each constituency decides to do whatever they want to do without government guidance? Don't you think there will be anarchy? And don't you think that you are setting a precedence for anarchy, refusing to abide by lawful instructions from the powers? Chasef does whatever government says. Kalulushi, Mandevu, Mitete, you do whatever you feel. Government is guiding you, you say, no. For us, we're not going to do this. The three principles I always tell, you are aware. Right price, quick delivery, and quality. Now, how do you deliver projects on time if you're not meeting? Vice Chair.
Chair, for me, if I look at this letter, inability to submit all 2024 Constituency Development Fund components in Changa, which should have read all 2023 CDF components, but it's saying 2024. For me, I look at this as management failure, trying to justify their inability to submit the whole list to the permanent secretary as required by the circular that was sent to them, and put the blame on the CDF committee. There's a reason why the councils are secretariats to the CDF, Constituency Development Fund. Number one is to interpret government policy. Number two is to offer technical advice in line with the circulars, the policies, the regulations. And here we are, we want to justify failure. Even the letter that you wrote to the ministry does not ask for guidance. They are here. And I think they have a copy. It doesn't ask for guidance, but it's just justification. So for us to rely that the CDF committee guided that we do the wrong thing, yet we know that failure to spend is an issue with the Auditor General's office. Failure to implement projects within a particular financial year under Auditor General's office, and here we are. We want to rely on an illegality not supported by any guidelines, any circular. I think we can do better, Town Clerk. You don't sit in the CDF meetings. That's why even a wrong thing is done, you have the whole Department of Legal to advise you. You have the full council to submit to get guidance. In fact, this decision of the CDF committee, you should have taken it to full council for guidance for your protection. I know that perhaps maybe the MP was in attendance, maybe she couldn't guide because of fear of this and that. But the thing was, the next board was the full council. And you, Town Clerk, this could have come under your report to guide, to say this we cannot implement because the regulations are like this. And besides, by the end of the year, we'll receive more funding. Remember, this is why you have to vary funds. If at the end of the year, the CDF component for loans, for example, the uptake is low. Loans were not varying, but any other. You are allowed as Town Clerk, and you've been given authority to take these funds to go and implement development, for the benefit of the people. So I know we belabor this point, but you're just failing, to admit that this was a wrong thing on your part as management. For me, I'm not going to ask a question, but I will heap it on you, the technocrat, especially you, Director Planning, and your other colleagues who sit in this CDF. Make progress. This money is supposed to benefit the people of Nchanga. I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much for that observation, Chair. It's the view of everyone that there is total failure of management in Nchanga. I will ask Honorable Pavuma a follow-up on the same. We wind up Honorable Mulunda, then Mr. Mwanza. These will wind up on this one. Honorable Pavuma.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the circular discussion is absent here. I can't see it. And we do have CDF Act 1. We have CDF guidelines. Now we have a circular. So maybe we could have understood better why this circular was issued in this special case. Because the guidance is very clear from the Act guidelines itself, how committees should act or should capture projects. So it's confusing here, Chair. So maybe we needed to find out from Chingola, where is this circular so that we understand from which angle it was issued. Maybe that's where maybe things seems to be conflicting here, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mulunda.
Chair, I want to take his word.
Is it a different question?
Yeah, but it's in the same manner.
Dr. Mwanza, is a different question?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Are you?
Yes. What I wanted to talk about, Chair, is the conclusion that your Vice Chair made, that there is just total negligence. I wanted to take you to page 5, 6, and 10. You will find the same fashion in the way they are handling the matters. And this chairperson on page 5 and page 6 and 10, you find that the Chingola Municipal Council was failing to get the chairperson to come and sign the document. Just sign the document. How does that one become a query? Honestly, how do you sustain it until it comes out on the Auditor General's report? When the chairperson can be called to sign on the minutes. So there are these things are happening with students, and on the other part is where you have paid for students that are not in school. If that's not negligence, then what is? I'm very worried, Chairperson, that the auditors would come to tell them that the chairperson didn't sign this, and this the chairperson didn't sign here, and then they submit that this is the reason as to why these were not approved. How can you work like that? And my colleague here is doing development. You are doing service delivery. Thank you, Chairperson.
You know what you see in Town Clerk? If you look at my report, where is my report? I just want. Then the president is alone. The government is alone. And since we started this sitting, you see as we go, we want to interrogate this. The people of Zambia should know what type of officers we have who are failing to manage. As the Vice has said, Honorable Mulunda, the whole year you can't find the chairman to go and sign. Even when the auditors come to say this is a query, the chair did not sign. You couldn't go back to drop it, to drop the query. You couldn't go back, Chair. You forgot to sign. That time it needs to be signed. Nothing. Then what is there?
It's like that's a new question. If the chairperson does not sign, there is a vice. Town clerk. In the absence of the chair, in Chingola, Changa, or Chingola constituency itself, there are no vice chairpersons.
Total anarchy. Let me ask the minister before Dr. Mwanza comes with an. Do you have any comment, Minister of Law Government?
Thank you, Chairperson. The comment that possibly one would make is that it's unfortunate the situation of Nchanga constituents, that things could unfold in that manner. To the extent if these minutes that are attached are correct, then even the CDFC committee was not supposed to have gone that way to resolve. They could have merely proposed that how they felt maybe business could be conducted, as you have guided, because government had issued the guidelines in the circular, and that business could be conducted in that manner. Further is our submission. If a CDFC conducts itself in that way, then it is the issues of decentralization, because we are saying community should make of. Yeah, so yes, the council wrote to the ministry and did those indulgences, but as again I guided, also it could have been a caused me item to the full council. So that if community leaders are not prepared to serve in the manner that government has guided, they could stand dissolved, and the other people come in to serve those communities diligently. I think that's what could be the comment, because then the much needed projects could not be undertaken at that time in a manner that government had guided. I thought I could just make that. So town clerk and team, if that is the situation that is still standing in Changa, be guided that unless there's any contrary secular, the guidance of government stands firm, and we need to conduct business in that constituency in the manner government has guided. Thank you, Chair.
Do not withdraw huge sums of money to pay. Then the CDF committee tells, no, as far as we are concerned, draw 5 million, we shall be doing it. Then you go out with them. Town clerk, the buck stops at you. What type of management you are leading in Chingola? Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you.
Dr. Mwanza, then yourself.
Thank you so much. We go to page 1. Failure to recover advance payment on terminated contracts. So I'll address 2 projects because they are similar. They are similar. 1 and 2. These contracts were assigned on the same day, 6th September 2023. The first contract engaged EFRA Investment Limited to do chip and spray on selected roads in Nchanga constituency. Contract sum 5,252,708 kwacha with a contract period of 8 months. Chair, Council paid an advance payment, of course, in line with the special conditions of the contract. So they paid an advance payment of 5% of the total contract price, amounting to 1,313 kwacha 177. The contractor, the road contractor, he never mobilized. The contractor never mobilized and never commenced work. Hence, council terminated the contract and started to demand advance payment that was paid through the A-Plus insurance company. This story is the same with a project on page 2, which is water reticulation plumbing works at Nchanga General Hospital. At Nchanga General Hospital, the contract sum was 438,824, and the contractor paid 25% advance payment upon the contractor issuing an insurance bond from Discover Company, and the contractor behaved the same like the one for the road contracts. He never mobilized and never commenced work. Council engaged the bond insurer in both contracts. In the first contract, for the road contract, Council has recovered 400,000 kwacha through the courts. And the second one, they have recovered nothing, and they're only going to appear in court on 23rd April 2025. 2 years later, almost close to 2 years. The questions I have, Council, you have referred us to Appendix B, Appendix A. When
when you paid the money and the contractor never mobilized and they never commenced work, where is the evidence of engagement to engage the contractor before, both contractors, before termination? 1. 2, if you go to Appendix B, the last correspondence, you informed the ZPPA about the termination of the road contract. But the letter that you wrote to ZPPA, I read on Appendix B, termination of contract Gilgal Engineering Limited. Chingola Municipal Council Procurement Committee at its sitting held on 9th January resolved to terminate the contract dated 6 September for chip and spray of selected roads in Changa constituency. So just from this, why the contractor for chip and spray was Kefra Investments. And then you are informing ZPPA, you change the contractor. The contractor is now Gilgal contractor. How do you explain this? And I think other questions will follow.
Yeah, you'll follow up. And additional to that, before you respond, I'll ask Honorable Kampamba, then Honorable Mtelo.
Thank you, Chair. And normally I don't comment when it's a female town clerk seated there. But I'm just worried, dismayed, and anxious on your behalf. Where I'm sitting, I don't have to be a rocket scientist to, from what my earlier colleagues have alluded to, that Chingola Municipal Council is in trouble. Town clerk, why I'm saying this, Chair, is that for me, I'm very, very saddened and worried, at the rate of abuse that is actually taking place at the municipal council. Just from failure to recover advance payment on terminated contracts. Town clerk, money is given upfront. Are you doing due diligence on these contractors, or you are randomly picking, or because even the issue of the chairperson failing to sign and it becomes an audit query, who are you administering this council with? Because for me, I'm thinking that maybe there are direct forces. This is an opportunity for you to say, because I believe for you to sit there as a town clerk, you were scrutinized and you deserve the job. But some of these errors, Chair, are unimaginable, they're unthinkable that they could even appear here. This, for me, I think local government demands serious answers. There is no way a chair of a committee can fail to sign and the council is quiet. You are, I believe, a university graduate, and who knows, a special government has given it, and the answer could not agree, and you went ahead. So for me, Chair, I'm thinking the external forces that are managing this council, because I'm failing to understand how my dear sister here could allow such misuse. And to all of you officers, you see, us politicians, we leave offices. It is you that is sweating here to answer to the Republic of Zambia and this committee. So for me, I'm thinking these queries, Chair, are beyond. I don't think this whole entire committee can be making errors like this and allowing it to happen. So for me, I'm a bit shocked. I normally don't comment on women, but for me, I'm just very, very disappointed that the whole entire procurement, even just the, I know council is secretary to the CDF committee, you yourself who is the secretary to the committee can allow such happenings in the council. So this is taxpayers' money, TC, and really for me, I'm not understanding how this could have reached such a level, Chair.
Honorable Mtero, thank you very much, Honorable Kampamba.
Thank you, Chair. Acting Director for X. Were you there when this was happening?
No, I was not there.
DPO, were you there?
DPO?
Yes, Chair. I'll
Cited. On top, it's Gilga. In the letter, you take the and spray.
You know, chip and spray by the company.
For the other company. But that aside, have we done the chip and spray on this road to date? Have we done the plumbing works and the water at the hospital? Look here, Mom. Here is a hospital and water is life. Have we? We go ahead retendering and 3 times. Minimum time is you tender, it falls. Tender, it falls. 3rd till the 4th. Time is going. Allow me take your words to say this report. I said, sir, no matter what, the report will remain the way it is. From the first up
Page,
to,
up to
yes. We can, town clerk, we can be going one after the other. Our interest, did we do the chip and spray? Has the water? But look at that time. She brought it to us. Yes, you do. Do you know who is on the burning rate, which has now changed? It's no longer burning rate, it's now what? It's utilization, absorption rate, no matter what language. Do you know who takes the buck? The buck stops at the member of parliament. But beyond that, our role, local authority, is goods and what? Services. Finish. And this CDF is trying to actualize the initial purpose for local authorities to stand alone. This CDF. Trying to say, are you able to stand alone as local authority? Yes, working hand in hand with central government. We give you money. Are you able to run the activities at the local level? What is coming out from Chingola, town clerk, and your team? There is only one word I have adopted. Aikonaman. In Mitete, we say nix.
Town clerk, you can respond. Take note from Honorable Dr. Mwanza, then Honorable Kampamba. They should be assisted by your colleagues. Then Honorable Mtero.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
I proceed?
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. And let me mention that we are taking note of the guidance that is being given.
We are not guiding you. We are questioning you. No one is guiding you. You were guided before. We are not here to guide anyone.
Thank you,
So
Chair.
take note. We want your responses. These are monies given to you by government to go and help the people of Chingola and in Changa. So if you are not doing the correct thing, we have not come here to be guided. How many times are we going to guide you? We want to hear why you are not doing the correct things.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'll start from here. Starting with the status on these projects, the ones whose contracts were terminated due to failure to rise. The plumbing works at Nchanga Hospital were done and it is operational. The chip and spray was eventually changed from the chip and spray to paving of the roads. And the reason was that, Chair, we were not having responsive bids regarding the advert for the chip and spray. You may wish to know, Chair, that this kind of project requires technical equipment, which equipment I'm guided that not many do have. So due to the loss of time and upon being recommended to, the CDF committee for Nchanga eventually agreed to change the scope from chip and spray to paving, and these roads are currently, some are being undertaken, others are
Some.
Yes, Chair, because the paving was provided for under the 2023 as well as 2024 allocations. Chair, allow me to request...
Maybe not to disrupt you, or your thoughts. You said that chip and spray could not go ahead because there was no technical machinery. But this was properly tendered and someone was contracted. Honorable Kampamba asked somewhere in her statement, do you do due diligence? In this particular case, did you do due diligence for you to say this contractor qualifies because he or she has all the equipment? Now you are changing your statement to say you do that. And you should also help us the variation that you did to the contract. We want to follow you religiously. So ask your technical team to help you. Did you do due diligence? Why did you award it to someone who didn't have the machinery to do chip and spray?
Or Chair, something that Chingola in Changa knew that it was not attainable. At what stage did they now come to know that what we had tendered and gotten a contract was not attainable? Could it be the reason as to why even the contractor did not start? But why would you have done that? I would have liked to have the substantive director of works who was there.
We have procurement, first before you respond, procurement. We have here, you were around in 2023. You were the one who was involved in this. Get yourself a seat near. Doctor, do you have space there? Singombe, move to the next chair. Doc, move to the next chair. Sorry for that, TC.
The microphone, we will create the chair. Pull that up.
I think we should be now dealing with the specific offices. The Director of Engineering having been away, we are consoled that we have the DP and other people who were involved. We have the procurement who was involved, and we have the audit and Director of Finance. So, procurement, what happened? Did you do due diligence? This is a flexible mic, you can do anything with it.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, due diligence was not carried out before award of contract.
Why?
Chair, we did not include it as part of the procurement process. Unfortunately, we missed it out. And we based the award in their bid. Thank you, Chair.
Doctor.
This contract how do you explain the circumstances surrounding these contracts where yes, you based on award, you based the award based on their presentation, you paid advance payment without contractor mobilizing? This magnitude, more especially for the chip and spray, which was a contractor would submit a bank guarantee or a bond to claim for 25%. The conditions of contract, even in the contract, in the instructions to bidders, they specify that the 25% is meant for mobilization. Now, you only pay when a contractor has possessed site, has mobilized, and has commenced work. Why did you not, you did not do due diligence at the award, but now on paying the contract, the advance payment, the contractor should have possessed site, established a construction camp, and put his machinery on site. Then you'd pay the advance payment. Why didn't you follow the guidelines in the contract conditions? Even suspicious, like the
insurance.
He gives an advance payment bond on the 20th, is it 12th or 20th September? 5 days later, Chair, he's paid the 25%. Even, I want to see this contract because according to the description, page 2, the contract start date was 20th September. To end on 20th September 2023 and ending on 4th April 2024. But his bond is 12th September, which is days before the contract was signed. And is paid expressly. He submits on 20th of September, on the 25th September, 5 days, he's paid. Now you are struggling to get to recover the advance payment. You are even given from the courts, you are even told to appear this month actually. This month, from 2023. Why should this case take so long? Yeah. And with all these kind of inverted commas, some suspicious activities at express speed, I submit a bond before I sign a contract, then I'm paid, I disappear. I don't even mobilize, I don't even... So, and these are contractors that are in CHINGOLA. I've seen these companies. around there, that end. So why procurement could you abrogate the contract conditions in terms of paying advance payment bond, advance payment? Advance payment does not mean only when I submit the bond, then immediately. The bond has also other conditions. You must mobilize on site. You show some commitment. You mobilize and start some work. Then you are paid. Why did you abrogate those rules?
Before I ask TC and the procurement, Director Engineering, is what Dr. Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe and a member of this committee, is saying over the bond, the conditions of the advance bond or the bond, insurance bond. What he's saying, is it correct or is not? Director Engineering, in your professional understanding. The Director Engineering, direct, to just answer, because we don't want to be accusing you. Director Engineering.
Chair, there are two of us, so I don't know.
Oh, you have two directors of engineering.
Yes.
Who was there in 2023?
I was, Chair.
Please. Director Engineering, the one who was there.
Chair, thank you. In the contracts, which is a special condition of contracts, it does not outrightly state that you can only pay the advance payment.
Order. Honorable member, come and sit here. So you can go ahead, Director.
Thank you, Chair. In the contract, in particular the special condition of contract, it does not say you only pay advance payment upon the contractor, for example,
Mobile
of equipment has to take place. Chair into site and they possess site. For example, I'll give an example of Gilgo. Gilgo even was in the procure materials. The only challenge I think that he had was upon realizing that in the contract, the type of toilets that we had specified, for example, in this case it was concealed toilets in between walls. He did not fully understand. So when he went on the market to get quotations, it was discovered that the quotations that he got were more something which he didn't anticipate. So this is where, for example, him failing to mobilize emanated from. Maybe also legal can be able to guide on the provision for specifically advance payment. However, like I stated, Chair, site possession took place.
Refer us to the correspondences, letters that were going between yourselves as a council and Gilgo to say, I didn't understand about this. This is the position. Or you, the council, inquiring why he could not continue or why he abandoned site. You say that he took site, he took possession of site, then he abandoned. What correspondences did you write, or did what correspondences took place between you and the said company? Would like to see that. Now I'm coming to the procurement officer. You are comfortably telling this committee and the nation that you did not need to do due diligence. Was that in order on your part? Was that the ideal thing?
Thank you, Chair. No, it was not the ideal thing, Chair. It was an oversight on our part.
Was it an oversight or it was deliberate?
It was an oversight, Chair.
You are a professional, it can't be an oversight. A professional knows what is supposed to be done. When you are driving a car, what did you do when you go into the car? You put the keys on the ignition. How do you expect a vehicle to move if you don't put the keys there? Or you want to go forward, you run the engine. You want to go forward, you put it to reverse. That is a very omission on your part. Deliberate. Can you respond to some of the questions that has been asked by Dr. Mwanza?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to call upon Director Legal to respond to issues of was there communication between us and the contractors before the termination, leading to where we are in terms of getting to court. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I will further respond to the aspect of the mix-up in the dates, which were cited by the Honorable MP. Chair, there was no formal communication. However, informal meetings were held and engagements were done with the contractor chair as to the reasons why they had not yet mobilized. My colleague from engineering will concur with me. We had a series of meetings with the contractor, and in all those meetings, he was assuring to say we are yet to get the machine on site for the same works, that is for KEFRA, the machine to do the chip and spray. However, that kept on prolonging. Hence, we had to take the step of taking the matter back to procurement committee.
Before you could write formally? Were you there, Director?
Yes, Chair, I was around.
And you saw this as a normal thing?
No, Chair.
Why? Did you omit to do? And you are a Director Legal, the legal advisor. Vice Chair, before you continue, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I have a follow-up question for Director Engineering, who is saying that Giugo Engineering Limited did not understand the work involved. And when they wanted to buy the materials, they found that the prices to be something else. I understand that as part of the procurement guidelines, when contractors are invited to bid for any particular work, there is a visitation on site to go and check the works that are supposed to be carried out. Was this done? And as you do your technical appraisal of the tenders, there's a BOQ that engineering and the technocrats follow in terms of the response by the contractor who has bidded, the pricing, to see that they do understand the works that they are bidding for. Was this undertaken, or this particular person was just favored because they know someone within the council? I submit, Chair.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Site visit, Chair, was done. In fact, it was part of the criteria in what we are calling the preliminary evaluation. One had to produce a site visit certificate, which he was required to attach to as they submit the bid. So site visit was done. However, Chair, I need to make mention, during site visit, it's not detailed information which is given there.
At which point did you give detailed information?
At which point it is from the BOQ. On site, we try to give a summary of what works are expected.
Now let's go to the BOQ.
Yes, sir. Was the BOQ, was the evaluation done, was evaluation done following the rates that they submitted? Chair, I should be able to believe.
You were there?
Yes, I was there, Chair. But
who amongst you was involved in that before you go? Because you want to run away now. Who was involved in the
Chair,
evaluation?
At the level at which I sit at the procurement, and this detailed evaluation is done at evaluation stage. So maybe procurement can be able to.
You were not at the procurement?
I was at procurement stage, sir.
Now, why do you want to refer? Vice Chair. Then I'll come to you.
Chair, I want to suggest that this technical aspect of the BOQ is responded to, spoken to by the expert, who in this case is the director of engineering. He's the technical person with the expertise to inform the other members that sit on the procurement committee. There's no way you're going to refer the BOQ issue to procurement. Could you answer the question?
Director?
Thank you, Chair. In any evaluation, Chair, there is a part where they go to analyze the rates that have been put in the BOQ. So I should believe, because I was not in that meeting, but I had my technical people sit in that meeting, Chair. So I should believe that evaluation, which allowed officers to look at the rates that were put, were considered. And Chair, I must make mention, at this point, Chair, as you are evaluating, we also follow things in detail, and we reach a point, Chair, where you look at also the final engineer's estimate, which you compare, the final submitted estimate, which you compare to the engineer's estimate. And Chair, from our engineer's estimate to what was submitted, our engineer's estimate was about 450,000. This contractor was about 438. So when you analyze these two, 450,000. Yes. And the contractor's bid sum was about 438. So when you analyze how close this overall sum is to the engineer's estimate, which we do in detail, one would tend to think everything was taken into consideration at this stage.
You see, I will ask Dr. Mwanza, but before that, I mentioned about Cap 12. Do not take this committee for granted. You said you were part of the procurement evaluation committee. But again, you want to run away that you were not there, you had allowed your subordinates to sit there. What are you telling this committee? These are serious matters. We are taking this long because you don't mean well to this country. You don't mean well. There are more qualified people who can do these jobs that you are doing, all of you here. You don't do this to your country. Dr. Mwanza.
I heard the town clerk saying the chip and spray has been varied to asphalt roads.
Not to paved.
Paving? Using the pavers, township roads. Okay, so this project was funded in 2023. I've seen on the contracts that are all 2023 Community Constituency Development Fund, the chip and spray roads, as well as the plumbing works at Nchanga Hospital. Now, what do you think is the opportunity cost that has been incurred due to floods on procurement for these two projects? What lessons can we learn so that in future, the future contracts, we should be able to do better?
Before they respond, there was a question from the Vice Chair. We want it to be exhausted. Procurement. What was your role on this one? Okay, Vice Chair.
Yeah, I wanted to just clarify something from Director Engineering. On the contract estimates, he says it was 450,000 kwacha, and this particular contractor tendered for 438. If I'm building a house for myself and I want to use 6-inch blocks, okay, and then I ask people to participate, and somebody in the tender puts it that he he wants to use pan brick and gives me, I've got a budget for 450, and because he's using pan brick, he gives me at a cost of 438. Will I, as an expert, go for pan brick using my BOQ and the standards that I've set because he's offered me at a lower price?
Director Engineering.
No, Chair. You, as an expert, you cannot be able to go for...
Just no, just leave it at that.
Now, how do you reconcile with the area statement that you gave, indicating that this person refused to go ahead to do this project because of the toilets which were, he didn't understand the type of toilets. That's what made him not to go ahead. This is the question he's asking. How do you reconcile?
Thank you, Chair. In the BOQ submitted, it was still our concealed toilets, type of toilets. And even in the bid that...
and he accepted that?
He accepted that, Chair. Even he slotted in rates on concealed toilets. But it's a thing where I'm sure the contractor did not fully understand the type of toilets that were being requested, which he only came to now learn.
Hold on, dear. You are contradicting yourself.
Chair, with your indulgence, how do you know that the contractor did not understand? Because the contractor, when he submitted his bid, he even put rates. Yours is just wait for him to bring the materials on site. And now when you meet somewhere, he just talks to you that the rates are a bit high or something like this, and of which is not part of the presentation here. So, also you cannot side with a contractor.
Thank you, Doc. You have put up a very good question and concern. Before you respond, let me allow Honorable Kampamba, then Honorable Pavyuma.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as we go deeper in asking questions, I become more shaken. Director Engineering, first and foremost, when a BOQ, the bill of quantity, is done, there is a drawing. This is a building, right? Yes, it's a building, you're plumbing. There is a drawing. And Chair, I heard the Director Engineering say when there was a site visit, it wasn't detailed. Why do we attend site visits? It's to allow the contractor to have clarity on the works that they're going to perform. So actually a site visit is more detailed because it's physical. Director. Now, if you are going to say that, Chair, I assume the contractor did not understand the works. When he attended the site visit, you said there was a certificate attached. There was a BOQ. At what point then do you assume that the contractor did not understand the works? When there was a drawing, there's a drawing attached. I've never seen a site visit or a bill of quantity, especially when there are civil works or plumbing works involved, without a drawing. So for me, Chair, I'm getting frightened as they speak more. For me, my advice to Town Clerk is that maybe at this point we need an engine check. Because for me, I feel you're diving deeper in the waters as you try to justify the wrongs that have happened. That would be my submission, Chair.
Your response before I allow Honorable Pavyuma, Director Engineering. What is your substantive position now?
Thank you, Chair. I'm Director Engineering for Mansa.
For?
Mansa.
Your name?
Tewa Andrew.
Oh, Tewa, I saw the name. Okay. Respond to that.
Yes, Chair. Site visit was conducted on this. How did I come to learn, or how did my team come also to learn to say this contractor did not understand? It was upon meetings that we used to have. I said he took possession, and when we noticed to say he was delaying in starting the works, we called for meetings, Chair. And in those meetings, he brought out the aspect, of course, it is not minuted, but he brought out the aspect to say the concealed toilets that were there, when he went on the market, were very expensive. But Chair, we had to guide to say the bill of quantity that is submitted had categorically stated to say there were concealed toilets. So Chair, that is a point at which we learned that possibly this contractor did not fully understand at the time of bidding. Chair, site visit, yes, we do give details, and especially to do with the site conditions and everything. But Chair, we are cognizant of the fact to say at times, Chair, contractors do send representatives to come and attend these site visits. So could be, Chair, that could have happened. I'm not able to give, to substantiate that, but that could have been the case.
Sorry, I'm not cutting you. All those things that, your mic, all those things that you are bringing, assumptions. Worse is that none of you thought of documenting. Even the engagements you refused to engage formally. From director, legal, town clerk, planning, all of you. Nothing. You are bringing assumptions on people who are not here to defend themselves. You are now passing your back. CDF committee, they are the ones who are wrong. Now these contractors, you are saying that you assume that the concealed toilets, they didn't understand. It's an assumption. At which point did you put it in writing? How did you engage? You contractor, we have given you this contract. So many days or months passes. You are supposed to write a letter. And they should respond. And they are within Chingola. All this we are saying is that these are wrong things that the people of Zambia have been talking about councils. These are wrong things. You can't justify all this file if we are to give it. Some of these issues need law enforcement agencies, if you don't know. Honorable Pavyuma, your follow-up.
Thank you, Chair. It's difficult even to do a follow-up, Chair. Going by the submissions from the Director Engineering, where he has told the committee that he was part of the procurement process. At another instance, he was not there. He has also said Gilga was not aware without providing us evidence. Because after those engagements, they should have told Gilga to put it in writing that they did not understand.
Correct.
And again, in the bid document, Chair, there is a provision where one would put unit prices. If it's 30-ton stones involved, if it is pipes involved, there will be those unit prices. So there are so many aspects where the procurement team will use even to understand and ascertain that this contractor understands what he's doing. Not only the actual figure, the final figure. You relate the final figure to the contract sum that they've put as technocracy. They use it to ascertain that the contractor knows what he's doing. So there is that aspect, director, that document where there are unit prices. Obviously, even on those concealed toilets, there was a court. So what is here? Overall, when I look at this chair, it is the director who is trying to mislead this committee, and my suspicion is that maybe he's trying to protect this particular individual and make the insurance company suffer by cashing in that bond so that they only recover money from that insurance company. So, director, I want you to tell this committee what the truth is, and this committee, at the end of these interactions with yourselves, will be expected to do a report to Madam Speaker, which will be tabled in Parliament. So we want you to be clear. Withdraw one statement and give us a clear position. Because you have given so many positions, so it will be difficult to do a report. Withdraw one statement and give a clear position for the purpose of the report of Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Director Engineering.
Chair, the contractor could not proceed with the works, and he abandoned. So allow me to withdraw maybe the statements.
No, don't say maybe.
Contradicting.
Let us break for tea. We resume after. The meeting is adjourned for 10 minutes. Immunity is suspended until after tea break. Thank you.